My loves, happy, actual, true New Year. Today, if you are listening today, are you listening today? It's always today. But the day this is dropping is Wednesday, January 29th. It is the Lunar New Year. The Lunar New Year changes every year because it's aligned with the planets. It's seasonal. This is what we're going to do today. I'm going to break this down. You're going to understand why January 1st, not the new year, like your body knows it. Your soul knows it. No matter what hemisphere you're in, I know you're not likely feeling New Year, New You vibe on the 1st of January. Let me demystify that for you and bring us back to planetary cycles and nature and throw in some information about a pope who just thought he knew better. And then we're going to roll into some Q&A. And of course, because you're you, the questions are deep and juicy. The beauty of today being officially newness and beginningness is also that it's leading up to our Vision Builder event this coming Sunday. If you are listening to this on Wednesday, head over to daniellelaporte.com/visionbuilder. What's going to happen is you'll get your pre-care kit for the Vision Builder event as soon as you sign up. This coming Sunday, February 2nd, we're going to be together for 2 hours, and I'm walking you through the most gorgeous, well thought out, truly tested, like 300,000 people test drove some components of this process. And my ideal would be that we're getting together in our living rooms and groups with friends, with cups of tea and candle, and light up that incense. And we are really treating this as a sacred planning event. We are not life hacking. I'm not building something where we're setting out to crush it. This is not full of metrics. This is really approaching our lives as an opportunity to be visionaries, to work with metaphysical principles of manifesting, to learn how to bend time, and to be compassionate and not neurotic about it. If you can't be with us live on Sunday because you have other commitments or you're in another time zone, you will get the Vision Builder workbook, which essentially I just have written a new book, and you're going to get it in PDF form. Eventually, I'll print it and do the whole book thing with it. It's just beautiful, juicy. If you can be there live, please, please, because the energetics of being in a field of shared intention together around vision is really juicy stuff. So if you want to crush it, but you don't want to necessarily hack it, slay it, or burn out, this is the experience. It is, if I do say so myself, literally the manifesting event of the year, and it's going down and up this Sunday. Jump in, carve it out on your calendar, or sign up knowing that you're going to get all the materials in multimedia form. And it all starts coming to you as soon as you register. You choose the ticket set that works for you. There's a bundle, there's a VIP, there's all the things. And it's really, really beautiful and effectual and holistic. And this is how I keep it together and how I get things done, and it's worked for a lot of people. So come on in, Vision Builder. It's about being a conscious creator. daniellelaporte.com/Vision Builder. All right, so let me give you the backstory. On the calendar of consumerism and control that we are all mostly living by, and then the seasons, and how I think the cosmos would really prefer for us to roll. So scientifically, a year is a complete cycle of seasons. We move from one spring equinox, we go through all the seasons, and we land on the next spring equinox. The calendar that most Western nations use is a solar calendar, not a moon or a lunar calendar. It's a Gregorian calendar. Why? It's thanks to Pope Gregory, who just decided to refine the calendar to, quote, correct the seasons. How do you correct Mother Nature? How very possibly patriarchal could this be? There are various approaches, other approaches, like the Maori calendar. They track the stars and the natural signs, and they just decide, not so randomly, but naturally, like, hey, let's just call it a new year now. Today's the new year because this is what the seasons are doing. I think it's so intuitive and kind of punk rock. The lunar calendar, the moon calendar, is actually 354 days, give or take. Give or take, because nature is flexible, right? And this is why the lunar calendar, the Lunar New Year, falls on a different day every year. So what's happened, stay with me. I'm going to get down to a really simple explanation of this for you. Over the centuries, the lunar calendar has gotten mashed up with the Pope Gregorian calendar to make it a little more socially integrated. It works with the Chinese calendar, goes by lunar calendar, Vietnamese, the Hindu, the Hebrew, the Thai calendars, except there's a lot of traditions in the solar calendar that still bring in a bit of the moon stuff. So I know this is really confusing. There's some holidays and festivals that work according to the moons. Easter, Rosh Hashanah, Ramadan, the Lunar New Year. The whole point is that the Lunar New Year always begins on the first new moon of the year. This is the true beginning of the year, where the planet Earth begins its new orbit around the sun. Don't you think we should be working with the planet itself orbiting around the sun itself? So that orbit is the time it takes, just to state the obvious in case it isn't, it's the time it takes for the Earth to make one full revolution around the sun. That is an actual year. Okay, let me make this really simple. Every moon cycle, this is science, has 28 days. There are 13 moon cycles in a year. If you take 365 days, that's a year, you divide it by 28, you get 13. So our calendar, the Gregorian calendar, January to December, is actually missing a month. It's only 12 months. Where'd the other month go? Got crushed out by Pope Gregory. The word month actually comes from the word moon. Follow this one. If we had 13 months instead of just the 12, then every single month would have exactly 28 days. Every single month would have exactly 28 days. And what is that aligned with? Women's menstrual cycles. If we had 13 months, the first day of the month would always be a Monday. The 28th day, the last day of the month, would always be a Sunday. Every single month would have exactly 4 weeks instead of this ridiculousness where some months out of the year have 5 weeks. See how we've just like crammed and distorted things? And we would all be properly aligned with the cycles of the moon. So you know what this means since the calendar got messed with? It means we actually don't know. Someone could probably figure it out, and I'm not that mathy. We actually don't know what year it actually is. It is not the year 2025. So that's the mathy on it. More importantly, I don't know about you, but like I have never vibed with January 1st as a new year. Like I've always felt like just really kind of behind. Like I feel slothy. I just want to keep my fun bun while everybody else is promoting New Year, New You, Q1 objectives. I'm just like, wait. What did I just go through? What did I just experience? I'm more focused on reviewing my previous year, recapitulating, and not jumping the gun on new plans. I don't want to hit reply on anything. And then I noticed, this took me about 7 years to figure out, I noticed usually towards the end of January or the beginning of February, because again, the Lunar New Year is cyclical. It changes. It's not a set date every year. That's when I start to feel like, there's a fresh idea. I feel a little more shimmer and sparkle. And I feel ready to commit because I'm clear. And I was always apologizing to my team for being a month behind on the vision for the year. But I don't do that anymore. I follow my inner reason and I follow the outer seasons. I clean things up in December. I sleep a bit more. I pull back on the pushing. Just kind of pencil things in for the coming year. But all this to say, Happy Lunar New Year. It's time to go. It's time to see ourselves cracking through the soil. All the recapitulating, all the marinating, all the incubating is leading to some clarity. It's time to say yes to a couple of things. We let go of things. We let go of things that aren't aligned with us, clients who aren't a match, relationships that aren't meeting us, and we have tried all the things. We have waited for the miracle and it hasn't come. Let it burn. It's time to consider Flexi Fridays and not pushing so hard and self-managing. It's time to have compassion for having done our best. It is time to move into models of agility, agile business models. It's time to rebrand. It's time to get free and clear. We really look at what's not working, what is working. We double down on what is working, on what we want to grow. Keep it pointed to where you want to go. So that brings me to one of my obviously planted questions, which is, Danielle, what are some of the ways you close your year and you start your year? What are your rituals, journaling questions? What are your practices? Well, obviously, I just am in the chill incubator for most of December and January. I have my free and clear practice where the basics of that practice are, without looking at the past year's calendar and what actually happened, I literally sit down and close my eyes and try and remember what went down that past year. Let the memories naturally surface. Take some notes on that. And then I go back and look at what actually happened, January, February, etc. And I'm always amazed to see at what I remembered on my own and what I forgot. Like, oh my God, I forgot that I launched that thing. I forgot about that car accident. Really, mostly what I remember is, oh, I met that person or that relationship or that haircut or that move or that idea I had, those colors I saw in that meditation that one day under the tree in the park. It's amazing to see what sticks and what doesn't. And it's such a great indication about what matters most and what definitely is not going to stay with you when you go. On New Year's Eve itself, this is so Windsor, Ontario, I get my chips and my ranch chip dip, and I get some raw vegetables, and I just hang, and I'll stay up to midnight because I do want to see the ball drop and all those things. But really what matters most for me is harnessing the energy of the Lunar New Year. And I have a process called the Vision Builder. And I've been refining it over the last 2 years or so and looking at how much more effective it is to plan the vision for my ideal life. Ideal life, that's a thing. What are my ideals? My ideals are based on soul qualities, also known as virtues. What is it that I want to embody in the coming year? Is it a concentration on forgiving, on joy, on compassion, on generosity? How can I think more of that, say more of that, whether it's from a podcast to my conversations? How can I embody more of that? And then I have my 7 life areas: spirituality, wellness, work, home and stuff, relationships, etc. And I've been looking at my future 5 years out. And because I'm really interested in the psychology and the actual metaphysics of 10xing, I am looking at how I can bring that 5-year vision into the next 12 months, because why not? Time is a construct of the mind. And that is a glimpse into the Vision Builder process, which I have baked into, of course, the Heart Center membership and the Heart Center Day Planner and the Vision Building event, which is available at daniellelaporte.com/visionbuilder. I also do a lot of walking I find I do some crying in the woods. I have a conversation with my man, and I have a pretty casual but focused conversation with my kid about like, where are we at with finances, with moving, with music, with creativity. I do a really light version of vision building, usually over some DoorDash takeout from the Nom in Vancouver with my son Harper, who is now about to turn 21, on what the big stuff is and how he can rock it like in the next quarter. Yeah. So that's the long answer to my way to end and start the new year. Next question. What's the difference between a mantra and a nourishing thought? I love this because I really want to do what I can to honor what mantras really are. A lot of us casually use the word mantra like, oh, my new mantra for 2025, or my mantra for this relationship is, I am supported. I have all that I need. Those are beautiful. Yes, affirmations, nourishing thoughts, for sure, for sure. But mantras, classically speaking, are a sound, a word set that is repeated. They are typically Hindu, they are Buddhist, they are Vedic in origin. There is rhythm to them. And they're highly sacred. And I think of all the mantras that I have used over the years. Om Gate Gate Parasam Gate Bodhisvaha. I think of the countless monks and practitioners who, from the center of their hearts, have repeated in devotion powerful mantrams, mantrams, countless amounts of time. And that's what a mantra is for me. So I try not to use it out of that sacred classical context. We have mantra-like phrases and word sets in the Heart Center membership, and they're in many of the meditations and visualizations that we have. And I call them power word sets or sacred word sets, where often I'll do a recording of about 7 words, repeated 21 times, and repeated fresh. Like I just don't record those 7 words and then hand them over to Kelly, our podcast and audio producer. I actually repeat them live, and it will go something like this. Love, radiance, beauty, wisdom, truth, joy, balance, harmony. That's actually a sacred word set or a power word set that I used for about 3 years, that the metaphysical practitioner, the energy worker that I work with, VS, and I co-create most of the visualizations and meditations that I have. I use that almost every day for about 3 years. And then we have different sacred word sets that go with different intentions and soul qualities. So there's a sacred word set for relationship releasing and for clearing energy, et cetera, et cetera. So there's my definition on what a mantra is. The second part of that question is, what's a nourishing thought? A nourishing thought is a thought that has you feel expanded. It is believable to you at this current time. It probably is universal in nature, like anybody could think it and would feel expanded. It comes from the heart center. It comes from love, not from fear, not from the ego. And it definitely goes a long way in regulating and balancing your nervous system. It is the antidote to fear and to anxiety. And I really think the practice of identifying, cultivating, and thinking nourishing thoughts is how we save the world. Yeah. I'm going to be writing a book at some point in my life about nourishing thoughts. I've woven a nourishing thought methodology into the heart-centered planner. It's really part of the heart-centered way. And I'm working on figuring out how to simplify the metaphysical art of nourishing thoughts and the science behind repetitive, higher vibration thinking. I've narrowed it down to this for now. This is all you need to know. This is the diamond. Pay attention to your thinking. One thing I've gotten clear on recently is it's not so much about paying attention to a particular thought, because thoughts are usually so layered and coalescing together. It's just really the vibe of thinking. Pay attention to your thinking and ask yourself, what's the energy of this thinking? Is it positive or negative? I mean, there's so many different directions it could go in. Is it expansive? Is it contracting? Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it vengeful? Is it embracing? All those things. But generally, what's the energy of the thinking? What would happen if you allow that thinking to continue? What would happen if you allow that thinking to continue? And the answer to that is not a straight shot all the time. It's not like, oh, this would turn out positive, this would turn out negative. It could be, well, if I keep thinking this thought, I will get myself to therapy. The thought could be really doomy and gloomy and negative. If I keep thinking this positive thought, I might move into denial, or I could manifest the reality that I want. This nourishing thought could help create my ideal life. Next question comes from Paula, and she is one of our Heart Center members, and she asked, "You've said that resistance is a sign of change. Can you tell me more about this?" I can so tell you about this very specifically from page 123 of the Desire Map. Here we go. This is a quote from my friend Todd Herman. He is a elite performance coach who's worked with really high-level athletes. He says, your resistance is a sign that your system is reconfiguring itself toward success. You ever wonder why you feel so good 2 days after your workout regime? I mean, this is why New Year's resolutions are touch and go, right? And then you just succumb to the lethargy and the low self-esteem and a bag full of Doritos. When everything was going so well, you were in it to win it, baby. What went wrong this time? Well, according to my friend Todd Herman, sports psychologist, it's actually a sign that things are moving forward. And this is backed by science. So this is how Todd described it to me, that when you enact a significantly positive lifestyle change, significantly positive change. So it could be a new fitness practice, you're breaking out of a toxic relationship, you're taking on a new job. What happens is that your brain temporarily is going to flood your body with all of these feel-good chemicals. The neurotransmitters are like running all the good stuff. The serotonin and the dopamine is backing up the positive decision to change. So it's like, it's your brain's way of giving you a high five. So the happy drugs start flowing, you're feeling your good intentions, you have this seemingly boundless energy, and your commitments, temporarily, feel effortless. So this is going to be easier than you thought, right? You've so got this covered. But then by this seemingly cruel but necessary act of nature, the party train in your brain starts to slow down, grinds to a halt. And your neurotransmitters kind of collapse. They resort back to their old output levels. And this is a good thing because you might go crazy in a literal sense with the dopamine high being endless. That rushing river would really fry you out. So the good news is that the rushing river of happy chemicals starts to slow down to a trickle, and your ferocity starts to dissipate. on day one, you've got all this energy and this drive behind you, and you're excited, and you go to the gym and you work out and you feel great about it. And day two comes along and the wheels of the train are moving forward and you go again. And day three, there's a little bit of resistance, like you're there 5 minutes later than you were the day before. And then the tension, the actual biological tension, is starting to build up. And you go, but you're not feeling, as great about it. And then it's day 4, it's day 5, and it's harder. And then it's day 5 and 6. And then, and then you're not working out anymore. And that's why science can prove why the 3rd or 4th week in gyms, the gyms are empty. At this point, what's happening biologically is the healthy habits are asking your cells to change their shape. And it feels like a drag. But actually, your cells are being responsive. They're loving it. They're vibrating. They're shifting. Your cells, this is how I see it, on a cellular level, the inside you is actually doing yoga. On a cellular level, you're transforming. The cells are moving. They're shifting to accommodate your recalibrated levels, your higher levels of positive mood endorphins. They're actually responding. They just need a little more time to reshape themselves so you don't give up before the miracle comes, before the change. This is resistance, the upside of resistance. And it is actually cause for celebration when the resistance comes. It means that change is happening. And this is a great occasion for what I would call the virtue of acceptance, the soul quality of acceptance with a capital A. Resistance is here. I'm not going to resist the resistance. I'm not going to criticize myself for feeling resistance. I will meet and, when possible, celebrate all that is arising in my psyche, in my cells, in my butt, moving at the gym, in my new thoughts, my nourishing thoughts. Thank you for all the good Q. I hope I gave you some good A, so to speak. Let's end with Metta Bhavana prayer. I'm going to give this an extra setup for today. Metta Bhavana prayer is part of the vision building process. The idea here is that we get into this prayerful state. We're communing with our higher self, and from the place of seeing ourselves as happy, healthy, free of suffering, etc., as you're about to hear in the prayer, then we ask our future self what that looks like for us 1 year out, 2 years out, 5 years out, wherever you want to go. Knowing that we can only create the future from the future. Your future self is wiser than you are today, more connected, more loving, more resourced. It's inevitable because the universe is always moving forward. That's science. That's universal law. That's metaphysical principles. Everything is always expanding, and that includes you. And if you really want to include yourself in the evolution of humanity and your ideal life, do what you can to get to the Vision Builder event this Sunday, February 2nd. We're going to be in that group energy field of group love, group determination, and taking a compassionate approach to mega achievement. DanielleLaporte.com/visionbuilder. Metta Vision, Metta Bhavana. Metta, M-E-T-T-A, stands for loving kindness. Bhavana stands for practice. So wherever you are, if you can focus on your heart center right now, let's feel that warm, friendly, luminous quality in the center of your heart. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free of suffering. May I be free of mental anxiety. May I live in peace. May my life be blessed with ease. Now bring to mind who you want to offer this prayer to. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free of suffering. May you be free of mental anxiety. May you live in peace. May your life be blessed with ease. And now we offer this prayer to the entire world, human kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be free of suffering. May we be free of mental anxiety. May we live in peace. May our lives be blessed with ease. In full faith, so be it, and so it is. Thank you for praying with me. We've got an additional episode now that's coming out every Sunday that is specifically for prayer and visualization and the purest high vibe, nourishing thoughts we can offer. Short, sweet, deep Sundays. I'll see you there. With love, Danielle. Thank you so much for listening, for feeling, for spreading the word. With love.